Good morning. I wanted to share about my upcoming workshop in Brattleboro next Saturday. It's called Embody Your Boundaries, Decolonize Your Relationships, Transform Your World. I usually do this workshop online because I have people who join from all over the world. And what I basically do is I teach people how to embody their boundaries using the psychological boundaries framework that I have in my book, The Boundary Revolution. You can get that. And so it's been transformative for folks who have learned it. And transformative like immediately after the workshop. So it's not like you have to take a little, like a long thing, and it's like very bite-sized pieces. I do not offer my live workshops very often because it takes a lot of energy on my part. Within the virtual space on Zoom, even though I have people coming in from Portugal, Taiwan, Pakistan, India, like all these places together in one space, there is a barrier energetically, and I have control. But in the live space, there's another level of alchemy that happens. Okay, so first off, if anyone's, Judy, what do you do in the workshop? So I teach my psychological boundaries framework, like a trimmed down version. So bite-sized, digestible pieces. I offer different ways of exploring. Shh, Luna, my dog. So I give it in bite-sized pieces, and I allow bits and pieces to integrate, right? So in zooming out transparently, what I'm doing is I'm helping you understand how each of you have adapted in your lives generationally to the toxicity of oppressive systems like patriarchy, capitalism, white body supremacy, and colonization, okay? So when I start to discern and help you see things through a different lens, these layers start to drain off of you. And when I say drain, ancestral legacies that we have been carrying without realizing it, okay? So the beauty of these spaces that are collective is that whoever shows up is meant to show up. And so often, one person's medicine is another person's medicine. We bring awareness to places in our lives or in our bodies that have resistance to change or transformation or connection to joy. And then I start helping them look. If it's their present moment life, or if it's a resistance that happened generationally back, we locate it, right? So the intensity in which someone feels the blockage or the burden or the resistance or the anxiety or the terror informs where to look ancestrally. So within a shared space in the workshop that I'm offering next Saturday in Brattleboro, Vermont, live in person, what's going to happen is we're going to come together, and slowly together we're going to figure out why we're all meeting together. And what will happen is I will be instructing folks how to resource each other using nervous system capacity, right? So one person's going to have a stronger nervous system around a particular genocide that happened in another land because that's not their trauma, okay? So them holding the space, feeling into their bodies, figuring out what's happening for them, and offering witness. No one comes to my groups to be fixed or saved because there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the other person. What's happening in the body is data on where to go look, because it's a breadcrumb of ancestral trauma that needs to be digested. And once you digest it, it alchemizes into a healing that not only you need, not only your ancestry needs, but what the globe needs right now. We are in a moment of time. There is something that's happening in the universe. Those who follow astrology completely understand what's happening, and I cannot explain it because I don't understand how to explain it in that language. There is a collective conscious shift that's happening right now. You can see it because everything's falling apart. So zooming into a personal experience, when I have a breakdown, what it actually is, it's a breakthrough. There's another level of discovery that's coming in that needs incredible amount of energy in time and stress to create, okay? So if you are feeling tremendous amounts of anxiety, having panic attacks that you haven't had in a long time, inability to sleep, it is because there is something transforming right now collectively, okay? And for collective transformation to happen, individuals need to also be transforming. We are echoes of what is happening in larger systems, and we are shadows of what has happened from before. So I will be explaining all of these things in understandable bite-sized pieces in my live workshop that I'm offering in Brattleboro, Vermont next Saturday. If you can come, I highly recommend you come. What happens when we're in a space where there's commitment to collective healing, right? Commitment to looking at ancestral legacies that are preventing our full life, right? When we are committed to create safety and belonging for everyone who crosses that threshold, transformation happens. In other groups that I've offered virtually, someone has digested a piece of their ancestral trauma around money. They were able to start their book, right? They're right now in the publishing stages of that, right now, okay? Another person who did it is able to start this creative venture that she's been waiting on, but has been feeling so stuck. Now she's at another level where there's terror showing up in her body because of her ancestral trauma in Asia. If you are feeling terrified of fully embodying who you are or shining your light, there is ancestral reasons for it. Ladies, it's never been safe to fully show up in your body. Folks in the LGBTQ community, it is feeling completely unsafe yet again to show up in your full authenticity, right? So what I'm inviting each of you to do is to consider joining my live workshop that's happening in Brattleboro next Saturday, to come and learn this on how to embody your boundaries. You will no longer need an invitation. You will no longer need your passport. You will no longer need a sense of belonging that comes from other people, because you will bring that safety and belonging and love with boundaries from inside. That is how we transform your world, and that is how we transform the larger community, one life at a time. The ripple effect, once we get to the tipping point, it's going to be great. Right now, this shift that's happening, a lot of old patterns are clearing out, and we have to be mindful. What happens is, when we clear out old trauma, which is connected to our identity, we have this space in our body and our nervous system. What naturally happens is I'm going to attract what's familiar. Without consciousness and without intentionality and without repetitions to continue to change this pattern, we're going to bring in the same dynamic, different fucking package. Jim Crow, anti-Asian laws. Now we're doing anti-immigration again. It's the same dynamic over and over again because we're not healing the actual trauma. This is a moment in time where we have the space and the capacity to do that. So I invite you to come. It's going to be fun, and it's going to transform your life. I know it. Take good care. Thanks for joining me.